There's a formula to why you're getting the results you're getting in life, okay? If you have limiting beliefs about who you can become and what you can accomplish, you'll never reach your full potential. I've been getting judged my whole life. People have been picking me apart, but I believe in me. Dude, couple more weeks, couple more reps, dude, you're gonna be a damn machine. Be closing deals like crazy, okay? If all of you follow the play, I would expect all of you, I would say all of you will double your income. Be motivated to do better for your family. You know, be motivated to freaking give in abundance. You know, the more you give, the more you receive. It's a law of the universe. So I'll tell you what I want to cover with you guys, okay? So it's no secret that it's the fall season, right? It's the fall season. What happens in the fall for most dealerships? Do you guys think?
Time to slow down.
Major slowdown, man. Like right now, competition is already prepared for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like they've checked out for the rest of the year. They like whatever their year to date is right now, they're comfortable with like maybe adding a couple more thousands to it, but other than that, they're checked out. So it's a perfect time for you guys to freaking just make a presence and really go hard. So first things first, here's how we're going to kick this off, because I have a very simple belief, and I'll give this to you guys. And it works like this. There's a formula to why you're getting the results you're getting in life, okay? And I'm going to ask you guys a favor on this call. Everybody take notes. Everybody take notes. So if you don't have a pen and piece of paper, then go ahead and grab one. And then moving forward, like every meeting, pen and paper, ready to learn, because that's how we're going to retain all this stuff. And I want you guys to understand something, man. When we hop on these calls, like this has none of this information has anything to do with me. Like I want you guys to take it and think about your life and what you're trying to do. So I want you to really like think deeply about this, okay? So number one, write this down. Knowledge minus leashes equals performance. Knowledge minus leashes equals performance. And I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. So there's a lot of people out there that are really, really smart, right? I'm not one of them, by the way. But what stops everybody is you self-educate and you learn and you watch YouTube videos, you read books, you do all this stuff. But if you have leashes on your brain, like if you have limiting beliefs about who you can become and what you can accomplish, you'll never reach your full potential. Plain and simple, black and white. I know a lot of smart people that I've surpassed because I have a delusional belief in myself. I've like one thing about me, I've been getting judged my whole life. People have been picking me apart, but I believe in me. Like deep down in my heart, I believe in who I am. And I want all of you guys to get to a place where you believe in yourself, because we're in sales, dude. Like as a car salesman, you got to have rhino thick skin. I know all of you guys have gotten your feelings hurt a lot on the car lot before, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love it because the world likes to think that the car salesmen are like down here at the very bottom. But all I'm going to ask you is this: after people meet you, what do they say? That's all that matters. How can you stand out and be different from everybody else? So you got your knowledge, which we're going to touch on that. That would be referred to as a skill set. So the next thing I want you to write down is, what is my skill set and what is my mindset? The Elliott training curriculum is based off two things: mindset and skill set. That's all we talk about. Because if you can just crack those two things, you're gonna be very successful. Now, a lot of people out there, they say when you talk about, hey, I'm training my mindset. Like if you were to go out, like if my man that's new on the team, if he goes out and he tells the world, they're like, what did you do your first week at Abster Arnold? You're gonna be like, we trained our mindset. They're gonna be like, mindset? Like, who needs a freaking good mindset? And they're telling you that, but they're probably making 20 grand a year, right? Doesn't really add up much, right? See, a lot of people like say that, hey, mindset's getting hyped up. Mindset's only temporary, whatever. That's a mindset too. A lot of people have that mindset. A lot of people think that self-development doesn't work, but I've never met a successful person that actually believes that. Just telling you, okay? And here's one more thing that I want to add to this before we go into the belief thing. Whenever you decide to be different from everybody else, right? So my man Jackson, for example, right? You know, like average is everywhere. You gotta remember, whenever you're going after your dreams, 99% of the world is going to have the same life next year that they have this year. Okay. So Jackson has grown up a certain way. He's always had certain habits, thoughts, ideas, the same people around him. So when Jackson decides, I want to become a new person, I want to get better, I want to better my life, and he starts going to the gym, and he stops going out on the weekends, and he starts, separate himself from people who are negative, and he starts to like plug in with more positivity. You know what happens to Jackson? The people around him start to judge him a lot. And Jackson doesn't yet have a lot of results to prove that the way he's taking his life actually works. Does that make sense? Like he's going to the gym, he's showing up, he's plugging into the training, but he's not getting the results yet. So he's still doubting whether or not this life that he wants to live is really real, right? You know what this phase is called? This phase is called the transition phase. This is where you transition from being average to being great. And I lived in that space for a long time. I was doing all the right things, but I knew, like, everybody around me was judging me and they were telling me it wasn't going to work. So I was doubting myself the whole time. But after 3-4 years of really going hard, I started to really separate myself from everybody else. And once I had proof, once I saw a little bit of proof that what I was doing worked, I didn't doubt myself anymore. Now people are starting to convert to the way I believe. They're like, hey, maybe that dude freaking knows what he's doing, man. Maybe I should follow his path, right? So just remember that, because I say that because you guys are very young. A lot of you guys are young in the room. And when you start to separate yourself and you start to apply what you're learning from Rob, Chuck, all the guys over there, like, dude, you're going to think to yourself, like, this is different, and you're going to get a lot of judgment. But if you can make it through the transition, that's the hardest part. That's where most people get lost. Okay. So we're going to cover limiting beliefs. There's 3 major limiting beliefs that would harm your paycheck. I would write it down like this, so you can go back and look at these notes later. These are the 3 beliefs that will harm your paycheck. And I wouldn't want to harm my paycheck right before Christmas. That could be bad for you. I want you guys to have an abundant holiday season. Who's in on an abundant holiday season? Good. Okay. I was going to say, no broken arms, I hope. Good. All right. So belief number 1 is you can't make that much money. Like, I'm only worth X amount of money. I would write it down like that. I'm only worth X amount of money. Okay. I'm going to give you a quote that's going to shatter your mind. Okay. Seldom, I would write it down word for word, because this is going to be probably your biggest takeaway from the whole meeting today. Seldom will I earn as much, never will I earn more than whatever I think of as a lot of money.
Can you repeat that?
Seldom will I ever earn as much, and never will I ever earn more than whatever I think of as a lot of money. You guys like that?
Yes.
Jackson's looking like Socrates right now. He's like, damn, that one hit me like a damn bomb. So I'm going to break it down for you like this, because a lot of people I talk to, they're like, man, I'm really hoping to crack 80 grand this year, or 6 figures. Okay. If I could go back to being where you guys are at right now in the dealership, my goal for 2025 would be to earn 400,000 in a year. And I know you guys are thinking like, dude, listen, and here's what your brain is thinking right now. I promise you. There's no way you could do that in my store. That's why you're not hitting your goals. That's why you're broke. It's exactly why. Because whenever I give you a goal, you got two ways to look at it. That's impossible, or how could I make that happen? That's the only two goals. So when Rob comes in, he has a meeting with you guys. He goes, Jackson, you could make 20 grand a month. You know, Raleigh, you can make 10, 15 your first month. You have two options. You can think this guy's bananas, or you can think this guy took way too much pre-workout this morning. Or you can be like, you know what? How could I make that happen? Right? How could I make that happen? Here's a great mindset I want you to have. I want you to write down, I'm going to be living proof. I'm going to be living proof. Because how many of you guys have parents that make 20 grand a month? Raise your hand. Damn, you guys got some rich parents. Shit. All right. Jackson, I noticed that some hands went up, some don't. How many of you guys have like a parent that makes 500,000 in a year? No hands go up. You know how I knew no hands were going to go up? Because that's called the top 1%. So I want you guys to write down, I am going to be living proof. I'm going to be a living testament to what is possible. A living testament. Okay. So here's what you do. Here's an exercise I want you to do. I want one of you guys, whoever wants to be a participator today, raise your hand. My first hand that goes up is the one I'm picking. All right, I got Jackson today. So Jackson, what would be an ideal monthly income by the end of the year you'd like to earn? Just call it out, whatever it is, round number, and call it out.
12 grand if you didn't hear me.
12 grand. Got it. Love it. Okay, I'll tell you this exercise I want you to do. So I want you to take that number 12. Let's say December 2024, you could earn $12,000, and then every month after that, you made 12 grand or more. Okay. I want you to take that number and times it by 2. What number is it?
24.
Okay. Now here's what I want you to do from now. I want you to write this down on your paper. I only make $24,000 a month. So from now on, when people ask you, Jackson, what do you make over there at Absher Arnold? You know, obviously don't be posting this on Facebook and shit, but whenever someone asks you, like whenever a friend or Rob asks you, what are you going to make? Dude, I only make $24,000 a month. That's all I make. So why do we do that? There's a concept. It's called calling your shot, calling your future truth. Do you think if Babe Ruth, you guys remember Babe Ruth in baseball? He used to do this right before he'd bat.
Tim, you watched him play, didn't you?
Yeah, dude. Like how many times did you see? Like what if he got up every time to bat and he was like pointed at the bottom, like he's like I'm just gonna hit it like right there. That's what a lot of you guys do with your goals. You're like, well, I hope I get on first base. You know? So it's time to start swinging for the fences and calling your shot. Okay. So does that help you guys a little bit with the first belief?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, good deal. Number 2. This one's good. This one here is this. Oh, you guys are gonna love this one. This one is this. I haven't been in the car business long enough to get real results. Dude, if I was in your store and you said that to me, I might get arrested. I want you to write this down. This is how you end that belief forever. Time and experience means nothing. What happens on the first of the month, every single month in the car business?
Start over.
Everybody goes back to zero, baby. Everybody's even, man. Even the guy who sold for 25 years, who did 30 cars last month, he goes back to zero too, right? I'll tell you who's best to be in sales. And if this is you, then you're going to be successful. A psycho competitor. A psycho competitor. See, who played sports growing up? Raise your hand. So I used to play basketball, right? And you know what made me play my best? I didn't play my best when I'd have games where everybody in the stands was like, "We're rooting for you, Brendan. We want you to make every shot. You know, you're gonna kill it tonight." I never really had good games when that happened. But when I was on the road and the opposing team, the guy who was guarding me would come up to me and say, you're not gonna score a single freaking point tonight. I'm gonna lock you down. Those games, a different human being was playing basketball that night. A different human being. So I want you guys to figure out how to activate that prey drive, how to activate the psycho competitiveness. If you figure out how to do that, dude, it's over. It's over. Very simple. And here's the thing, man. A lot of guys say, I've been selling cars for 20 years. Well, they've been making the same money for 20 years. So they've had 20 years, but they've been doing the same thing for the past 20 years, right?
Yep.
I'm focused on one thing, it's progress. Progress over everything. That's all I'm focused on in life every single day. Okay, last one's this. This is a good one. Last one's this. The market's slow right now. And this one is very simple the very simple concept to understand. And I want you to write this down too. Fishermen and hunters. These are the two types of car salesmen out there. There's only two types of car salesmen, fishers and hunters. Matter of fact, there's only two types of salespeople, fishermen and hunters. You want to guess who's in the top 1%?
That'd be the hunters.
That'd be the hunters, correct. So it breaks down like this, right? What does a fisherman do? A fisherman goes out, like puts out the hook and waits for something to bite, right? He relies on his store, he relies on his managers, he relies on luck, hope, chances, things like this to make money. And that's what 99% of the car business does. And that's why their paychecks are like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. And they have what's called undependable success, right? There's 8 billion people in the world, and there's a butt for every seat, right? Do you think, think about it. And I don't know the exact population of Marion or Southern Illinois, but I know this. There's enough for you to at least find 30 to 40 people a month to buy a car from you if you're doing your job right, if you're going hard enough, correct? So yep. What we gotta do is we gotta learn how to hunt. Hunters hunt and they have dependable success. And that's what I want more than anything is dependable success. When you backslide and you get lucky and all this stuff, you're always questioning yourself. That doesn't make for a fun life in sales. Like, I don't want to live that kind of lifestyle. So what I did was I figured out how do I hunt, and then I kept my pipeline so full that it was impossible for me to fail. It's impossible to fail with enough activity. So that covers the mindset portion of this call. Are you guys getting value? Is it kind of opening your eyes a little bit?
Yep.
Okay. So the back half of this call, these next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about skill set. Okay. Remember this though, without the mindset portion of this, if none of that clicked, then the skill set isn't really going to help you that much because you're not going to be having a lot of certainty in what you're doing. So
if you guys need it.
Hell yeah, let's go. So skill set. Here's what we're covering today when it comes to skill set. This is a very important topic. So I'd write this down at the top. How to hunt. How to hunt. All right. Does anybody want to take a guess at what the three avenues for hunting are?
Social media, I would think, would be one.
Yep.
Referrals. Yep. Referrals. I don't know what 3 would be.
Anybody else want to guess?
Is video in there?
Video?
Yeah.
Video's a part of this, but it's not like one of the main ones. Here's what they are. The phones, the service drive, and social media. You guys have a service drive. I know it, right?
Yep.
Got it. How many of you guys go back and visit the service drive multiple times a day, every day? All right. Either we got a hunter in the room or a liar. Hey, I'm not saying you're one or the other. I admire that. That's good. I would love for all of you guys to devour the service drive. So we're going to cover that a little bit, okay? So the phones, service drive, social media. And then I'm going to add one thing. I'm going to throw this in because this is a trait. This is called a trait of the top salespeople, top performers in sales. All salespeople do one thing all the time. They have what's called a hot list. A hot list. So one thing I used to do when I sold cars, and that I still do every single day, to this day, I do it every day. I've never missed. I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do when I get to the office is I write out all the top, Raleigh, no more yawning. No more yawning. All right. I love you, but no more yawning, please. Sip on some more of that coffee. Hell yeah. Hey, I'm going to come out there soon, and I'm going to come to your guys' store. We're going to have a fun day. We're probably going to work out and shit. It'll be cool. Okay. But one thing I'm going to always talk to you guys about is energy, winning energy, which I won't pick on Raleigh too much this time, because the winning energy call was what we talked about last time, so he missed that conversation. So naturally, he doesn't know the rules yet, but the goal is to raise the standard. Everybody have high energy. Okay. So, hot list. Every morning when I get into work, I write out my hot list. There's a thing in sales. This is a superpower in sales called intuition. Intuition is the superpower of sales. Intuition works like this. Can I put myself in Rob's shoes and feel how he's feeling about doing business with me? That's how intuition works, right? So, for example, let's say that Jackson in the past 30 days or 60 days even, follow-ups included in this. Let's say Jackson sat down with about 50 customers in the past 60 days. And out of those 50, intuition works like this, is knowing who is actually a serious buyer and who he wants to continue to follow up with, and who is not ready, that he needs to kind of, schedule maybe a call 90 days or 6 months later because they're really not ready. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So every day I go into the office and I take out a piece of paper and I write down, I say, what are the hottest leads in my pipeline right now? And here's the thing. If you don't hunt a whole lot and you don't do a lot of activity, your hot list might be 1 or 2 names. That's a big problem. Now, dude, nowadays when I write out my hot list is 50 people long. So you can imagine why I'm pretty fired up, because all the time I have deals in my pipeline that are closed, like multiple deals a day that are closing, that are like crushing it for me, right? So every day I'm excited. So every day, you want to go in, write out this hot list, and your goal should be to stack it, to have so many freaking people right on the edge of buying a car, and so many appointments that you're so hopeful about, that you're running around the dealership fired up. You're like, dude, today's going to be the day I'm going to sell 7 cars. Every day you're like, today's going to be the day. Today's going to be the day. Tomorrow's the day, right? That's just a little nugget for you. Now, let's talk about the phones first, okay? So how many outbound phone calls do you guys make per day? Just call out a number. I want participators today, please. I would love to hear all of you guys interact and talk. Whenever you interact, whenever you become an initiator, it's going to make, when you get out of here talking to customers, even easier. You got to build a habit of taking action,
Anybody? Is anybody making phone calls?
I would say around 2 to 7 for me, depending on the day. Yeah, I'd say 3 or 4.
Okay, 3 or 4, 3 to 7. All right. Who's up for a challenge? Who's when I talk about psycho competitor, who's actually competitive?